Political outsiders look like they are here to stay, at least for a while. 2016 candidates with zero political experience, but lots of other experience still dominating poll after poll. But of course, every candidate, insider or outsider, is busy hitting the campaign trail.
I want to have selfies with everybody.
Yes! Mr. Trump!
I've never worked in Washington.
We love you!
75% of the American people now believe the federal government is corrupt.
It's a house of cards that's about to collapse. We need some responsible leadership.
I don't know if you watched Greta Van Susteren last night, but Mary Pat and I got interviewed by Greta last night. She got us into how we met.
Who sort of picked up who?
I picked her up at a bar, Greta. I was like, I can't believe I answered all those questions.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump!
We need to be engaged in the world. It doesn't mean we have to be the world's policeman, but we sure as heck better be the world's leader.
If we do what needs to be done, not only will America be great, America will be greater than it's ever been.
Former senior advisor to President George W. Bush, Karl Rove, is here to go on the record. There's a real tease. You have a book coming out soon, but that'll be the tease. They'll have to wait for that. Okay. Governor Kasich says this is the American Idol primary. Is he right that they shouldn't all be whooped up right now about these poll numbers?
Well, we invest too much in these poll numbers, particularly the racehorse numbers, because think about this. We are as far from the Iowa caucuses. So we're in the November election. This would be like the 1st of July. We're that far away from the election. And we will start voting in Iowa and New Hampshire where people are starting to pay attention. But even then, they're going to be slow to make a commitment, and it's going to be late before it breaks in Iowa, and New Hampshire can shift right to the end. So we're looking at these polls constantly. We ought to pay less attention to the head-on-head numbers and more attention to what people think about the individual characteristics of the candidates and make some judgments about their ability to move from there.
I'll tell you what surprises me is that Governor Kasich is third in his own state behind two outsiders. And even Governor Bush in Florida, his state, he's way behind. He's not doing particularly well in his state.
Well, look, right now there is a lot of attention on the outsiders. We'll see how much longer that lasts. I think it's going to last through the primaries. But let's put it in perspective. If you take a look at these numbers, for example, Donald Trump and the Real Clear Politics average of polls peaked on the 19th of November, actually the 19th of September. He was at 30.5% in Real Clear Politics polls. He's down now to 23.2%. Ben Carson similarly peaked in the national polls in the middle of September, went from 20 to 17. So we've now gone from where these two complete outsiders, they're the only two candidates running who have never held public office and have never sought public office. Carly Fiorina's run for the U.S. Senate in California. So they're the two, they're completely outside of politics. They've gone from being 50% in the national polls to being 39% today.
All right. The mess on Capitol Hill, the Speaker, the House mess. What do you urge your party to do?
Well, we've got to have leadership, and we've got to come together. And there's got to be, Kevin McCarthy took himself out. Now we've got to find somebody who can step forward and can bring these disparate elements together. And people have got to recognize they're not going to get 100% of what they want. But there's going to be a new face, and we better have one, because if we don't, if we limp into 2016, this will have implications for the presidential election. The people will say the Republicans can't manage their own affairs in the House. Why should we trust him with the White House?
Do you like Chairman Paul Ryan?
Well, I think the world of him. I think he is one of our great leaders. He is the man who almost single-handedly took the House from a position where they were afraid of entitlements and unwilling to make the tough decisions to start balancing the budget and avoid the fiscal crisis that's coming our way, and patiently educated his colleagues that they needed to take it on. But this is an intensely personal decision. I think he would be a remarkable leader, because I think he is the one person that I see on the horizon today who could unite the disparate elements of the Republican Party, and that large realm of people from one side to the other would have confidence would be a strong leader.
Well, we might find out this weekend. Apparently went home to Wisconsin to make that decision.
I doubt that it's going to be this weekend. If I were him, I wouldn't make it to this week. I'd continue to sample a little bit of opinion, because we got a long time to go until they vote. We may think 2 weeks or 10 days is not very long, but it's an eternity in this kind of politics.
Karl, nice to see you. We look forward to your new book, too.
Thanks for having me.